Hey everyone, it's Davison, advocate for the falsely accused and wrongfully convicted. I have not been on camera for a long time, and I want to explain to you what I've been doing for the last month because I haven't even uploaded a video for the last month. Basically, I've been traveling around and getting into some new territory that I want to bring to you because there's a lot of people in the same situation. So here's a binder. That's just one of about 20 that I've been going through. Transcripts, all kinds of stuff. And I have just launched a post-conviction review for a case in Canada. It's from Alberta. And one of the problems right now is we know there are a lot of wrongful convictions that take place. When you go to a place like the Innocence Project, they have limited resources and they primarily focus on murder cases. And right now, there's a lot of wrongful convictions taking place in sexual assault trials because of the changes to the law, the things that kind of railroad the falsely accused. So all of these people, if they try to get help after conviction, they're turned away. And, there's reasons for that. I'm not blaming the Innocence Project. But, and I've got limited resources. So what I want to do is, as I'm helping this one particular family, who I'd like to tell you more about, and I plan on doing so, potentially a book because this case is so crazy, I want to try and share with you the process of how to do that for people who are stuck trying to do it on their own. Now, this is a case that's in Canada, and we're dealing with the Canadian rules and regulations and legal system. So it doesn't necessarily apply the same way to people in the States. But I'm hoping that in the process and sharing this with you that I can bring hope to people who are in despair. And essentially innocent people, as soon as they're accused, they're in a state of despair and shock. And they go into trial thinking, well, innocent people don't go to jail. But the reality is they do. And once they're in jail, it gets exponentially more difficult for every appeal that you try to launch. Appeals are not the same thing as getting a new trial. You're only dealing with words that are used. You're only dealing with instructions given to juries. And it gets really technical. If you try to bring in new evidence your lawyer didn't bring to the trial, then it's blocked if it was available at the time. And so it becomes just a whole sequence of technicalities. And this is why people say, the legal system's not about justice. And that's because they don't actually want to know your case. They primarily in appeals, they're interested in upholding the verdict. And there's a good reason for that, in that people, when they go through a trial, want to have a sense of finality. Unfortunately, in Canada, if you're acquitted, it doesn't mean that you won't have to go back to retrial. And the case that I'm helping with, this is a case of that, where the man was acquitted and then that acquittal got overturned. And when he went back to trial in the midst of a media frenzy, there was a conviction. And I'm going to make a case that the appeal board, when they upheld his conviction, applied a different standard to that verdict than they did when they overturned his acquittal. And so it's really complicated work. It's really intensive work. I'm trying to appeal to some law students to help me out with this. And I've got a bunch of lawyers, more and more lawyers, who are taking an interest in what I'm doing, who are working with me. But I have been offline for over a month, and I haven't been on camera for probably over a year. So welcome back to me. And yeah, this is what I look like now. And I will be updating you more often and hopefully being able to share with you. I just have to make sure that the family's okay with how much I share about their specific case. But I will share with you the process that I'm going through to try and put together this post-conviction review. It's actually called a criminal conviction review. And all we have to do is, the first thing you have to do is show that you have fresh evidence that wasn't considered in any of the trials. Hence all these books, because we have to know everything that went into every trial and make sure that the stuff we're bringing is fresh evidence. It's something that hasn't been considered yet. And then it's your last chance to actually, if it's opened and they do a review, then they'll go through everything. It's your last chance to put everything on the table. And because it's the last chance, it takes a long time. You want to make sure you do it right. And there's an innocent man currently in jail right now, hoping that I do this right for him. And I'm going to share that journey with you.